Hello everyone, this is Janet Bloom, and in this video lecture demonstration I'd like to have a look at multi-page memos and talk about a few word features that we've looked at in first semester that we want to take to the next level this semester. Now we all remember in our memos we're going to start with the guide word to in capital letters, colon, press the tab key twice, type who the memo is to, and if you're provided with their job title you can type that as well. Enter once, type the next guide word from, colon, tab twice, type who the memo's from if you're typing this for someone else, and you can go ahead and type their job title, the date, and remember the business format for the date is always going to be the month, the day, and then the year in all 4 digits. We don't include the day of the week. Press enter, type the guide word subject, colon, tab only once. So the reason we tab twice in the first 3 items and then only once in the last item is to get that nice aligned look. Now remember, the subject line is not a sentence, it's a phrase describing the details of what you're going to be talking about in the body of the memo. We like to use initial capitals. So let's put down expense receipts for business travel to Hawaii. Wishful thinking, right? Okay, now we're going to type the body of the memo. We type it at the left, let it wrap at the left. We use the left alignment, which is the default. Default line spacing, everybody remember what that is? If you said 1.08, you are correct. And we'll use the default spacing after each paragraph, which is 8 points, that's right. Okay, now I'm going to use a handy dandy little formula to get some text on the page. It's equal RAND, left bracket, right bracket, and then press enter. And remember, you won't need to know that for testing purposes. That's just to get some text on the page. And I'm going to do that 1 or 2 times so that my memo goes on more than 1 page. Now that I've got my second page ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and put in my header. So we're going to scroll up to the top of the second page. We're going to double click in the header area. And remember, just like a letter, we're going to have 3 lines of information. The first line is going to be whoever the memo is to, and if you need to scroll up to see who the memo is to, we can see that it's to Bob Smith, who is the manager. So whatever's in the to line is what we're going to include on the first line of our header. So let's type Bob Smith, make sure you're in the header area, comma space manager. Now on the next line we'd like to have the page number, so we'll type page with a capital P, space, and remember we're not going to type the page number because we want it to change, so we're going to insert a code. We insert a code by making sure we're on the Design tab, click the page number button, choose current position, and then click the first option, which is plain number 1. That inserts a code. Press enter, and we're now ready for the date. And of course the date needs to match the date on the first page of the memo, and we use the same business format. Now you can see in my particular example we need to press the enter key 1 time after that date line, otherwise that date is going to come too close to the next paragraph. Sometimes that enter will automatically be there and you don't need to do that, but certainly if you don't see the enter, make sure you press once. Now if we don't increase that top header to 1 inch like we did with our letters, that will interfere with our staples, so make sure you change that header from top margin over in the Design tab to 1 inch. And make sure it's 1.0, not 0.1, because that of course is not a full inch. Now we don't want this header to appear on the first page, so the last step in the header is to choose different first page to insert that check mark. Close the header and footer ribbon, and then have a look at the results. Double check the first page, there should be no header, and there should be a header on every other page. Now we'll finish up our memo by going to the last line, and remember, a memo is not a formal document, so we don't have a complimentary closing, we don't have the author's name and title. We simply like to type the reference initials, and the reference initials would be your initials. So we'll type your initials, lowercase letters, and then we're going to type the file name of the document. So if this was something I asked you to save as last name underscore, first name underscore, and then memo, that's what you're going to type in. Now if we had any attachments or copy notations, we would press Shift Enter and we would type those in. So if somewhere in the memo it says I'm enclosing or I am attaching, then we're going to go ahead and put in that notation. So singular or plural depending on how many we have. Shift Enter. Copy notation, C:, spacebar if we're sending it to one person. If it's going to more than one person, make sure that you press the Tab key so that we can get that uniform appearance. So we'll type person A, Shift Enter, Tab, person B, and so on. So using the Tab key helps us get that nice even look. Now we'll remove the automatic underlining from our reference initials by clicking and choosing that Smart tag and choosing Undo Automatic Capitalization. We'll also scroll up. They've added some bold in this particular session to the guide words. And it's important in the online lab when you select to apply your bold that you only select the guide word in the colon. Do not select any other tabs or have extra spaces, or the online lab will mark it incorrect. So we'll go ahead and put bold, bold, and bold. And on the last one, I'm actually going to, on purpose, incorrectly add the bold so I can show you how to take it off. So if I accidentally bold the entire area, if I were to submit this in the online lab, it would show this tab as an error because it's in bold and they don't like that. I mean, really, in real life, who cares if you had a tab in bold, but it's a computer program and it's marking it accordingly, so we need to make sure we take that bold off. So select the tab, click the bold button, and that takes that bold off. Now that's how we generate a 2-page memo, and of course if it went on to more than one page, that header would appear on every page and the page numbering would change and update from 2 to 3 and so on. Now usually business reports in a memo format are no longer than 5 pages long. So we're going to spend a little bit of time typing our business reports in a memo format, but then most of the first half of this semester we'll spend using a regular report format because our reports will be a little bit longer. Now sessions 49 and 50 will also talk briefly about a couple of word features. The first word feature they're going to look at, we actually looked at last semester, the find and replace feature. The find feature does just that. It allows you to find some text. So you type in the text that you're looking for, and then it will be highlighted in your document. Close the navigation pane. Let's switch over to the replace feature, and we see with the replace feature, we can then find a word and replace it with something else. We can even open up the dialog box with the More button, and there's a whole bunch of options. We could even go under and look for something that perhaps was in bold or a particular font, and replace it with something in bold or a particular font by clicking in the replace with and choosing the format. So it's quite a powerful feature and you'll have a chance to play around with it in sessions 49 and 50. The other thing these lessons look at is being able to use the numbering and bullet feature, which we've used last semester, so we can select paragraphs and apply a bullet or a number, whichever we prefer. It also talks about being able to change some options under the File Options tab, so make sure you have a look under File Options. We can see that some things happen automatically. So for example, when you type in a 1 period space, it automatically thinks you're going to be doing a numbered list. If you wanted to choose those options and turn them off, we do have this autocorrect options feature which allows you to automatically turn things off. So here's your auto format as you type, and the reason that the automatic numbered list appears because there's a check mark in the automatic numbered list. So this options, not only for automatic numbered list is useful, but for all of these features. You can see under autocorrect, it's automatically going to give you 2 initial capitals. It will make it only 1. So that's why when we have our reference initials JB, it automatically capitalizes the first letter because we have capitalized first letter of sentences. If that drove you crazy, you would simply remove this check mark. I like leaving it on because sometimes I do accidentally forget to capitalize the first letter of a sentence. So there's a whole bunch of options in here which you can review at your leisure. So that's again under File Options. So the real highlight of sessions 49 and 50 for this week is being able to prepare a multi-page memo. And you'll have a chance to try this in the online lab.